When life leaves you crushed, when the weight of despair is so heavy on your chest that it feels impossible to breathe, when every dream you once held close seems shattered into pieces too small to ever be reassembled, it is in that dark and suffocating valley that you must remember this unshakable truth. God is the one who lifts your head. God is the one who binds your wounds. God is the one who restores hope. And God is the one who whispers to your spirit that even in your lowest, loneliest, most broken moments, you are still loved, you are still chosen, and you are still worthy of rising again. Life has a way of breaking people down, of throwing storms without warning, of knocking down walls you worked tirelessly to build, of placing mountains before you that appear impossible to climb, and of dragging you through deserts where thirst, exhaustion, and emptiness consume your spirit. But just because you are crushed does not mean you are finished, for gold is refined by fire and diamonds are formed under pressure. And the same way the night sky looks darkest just before the dawn, your soul often feels its weakest right before strength awakens from within. And though human words may fail, though friends may walk away, though the world may misunderstand your silent cries, God does not turn his face from your pain. He bends low to catch every tear. He hears every unspoken prayer. He holds every shattered piece of your heart with a tenderness that mortal hands could never match. And in his timing, he makes beauty rise from ashes. When you are bowed down by grief, he is the one who gently lifts your chin to remind you to look up, not at the ruins of what was lost, but at the promise of what is still to come. For the story of your life is not defined by a single failure, a single heartbreak, or a single tragedy, but by the endurance of your spirit, the resilience of your faith, and the love of the one who refuses to let you go. You may feel abandoned, but you are not alone. You may feel forgotten, but you are remembered. You may feel worthless, but you are treasured. And in those moments when you feel the weakest, when you cannot take another step, when your heart is too heavy to carry, that is when his strength carries you, his light guides you, and his love surrounds you in ways that defy explanation. Yes, wounds hurt, and the scars they leave behind tell stories of battles fought in silence. But every wound that God binds becomes a testimony. Every scar becomes a reminder that you survived, that you endured, that you refused to be defined by pain alone. And when you thought hope was lost forever, he breathed it back into you, not with force, but with a quiet and steady assurance that tomorrow still holds meaning, that your journey is far from over, and that what has been broken can not only be mended, but transformed into something stronger than before. People often mistake being crushed as the end, as proof that they were too weak. But being crushed is not destruction in God's hands. It is preparation. It is the breaking of the old to make room for the new. It is the pressing that produces oil, the pruning that produces fruit, the refining that produces purity. And though the process is painful, though it may feel unbearable, you must cling to the promise that there is purpose in the pain, there is meaning in the struggle, and there is glory hidden even in the ashes. So when you feel yourself falling apart, let yourself fall into God's arms. When the night is long and sleep refuses to come, remember that he does not sleep and he does not slumber. He watches over you with eyes of mercy. He sings over you with songs of love. And he whispers into the cracks of your broken spirit, "You are still mine, you are still loved, and I will not leave you like this." And it is in that reminder that your soul begins to rise, not because the pain suddenly disappears, not because the wounds magically close overnight, but because hope has been rekindled, faith has been strengthened, and love has been rediscovered. A love that does not change when circumstances change, a love that is not withdrawn when you fail, a love that does not fade when life leaves you shattered, but a love that holds you closer the more broken you feel. So do not let despair trick you into silence. Do not let shame convince you that you are unworthy of healing. Do not let fear deceive you into believing that you are beyond repair, because the very God who created the heavens, who calls the stars by name, who commands oceans and mountains, has also called you by name. And if he can hold galaxies together, he can hold your life together. If he can bring spring after the harshest winter, he can bring joy after the deepest sorrow. If he can raise the dead to life, he can restore your broken spirit. And though the world may see your crushed state as defeat, God sees it as the soil for rebirth, the ground for growth, the beginning of a new chapter where your pain becomes your testimony and your survival becomes your strength. And let this be the anchor you hold on to. Even in your lowest moments, you are still loved, you are still valuable, you are still chosen for a purpose greater than you can imagine, because God's love is not conditional, it is not fragile, it does not depend on your performance or perfection. It simply is, steady and unyielding, a light that cannot be extinguished, a foundation that cannot be shaken, and a promise that cannot be broken. So when life leaves you crushed, do not measure your worth by the pieces that remain on the ground, but by the hands that are lifting you up, by the love that refuses to let you go, and by the truth that even in the valley of shadows, your head can be lifted, your wounds can be bound, your hope can be restored, and your heart can be reminded again and again, you are still loved, and that is enough to rise, to keep walking, to keep fighting, and to keep believing that the best is yet to come.